It might be obvious just by looking at my channel, and it's clear to everyone that I have a bit of a passion for retro games, especially from the PS1 and PS2 era. It may sound like I hate modern games because sometimes I just don't feel like spending a bunch of money on them, let alone playing one for 100 hours, let's say. I get that with the price it's better if you get a lot of content, but I have realized that not many games can hold my attention for more than 15 hours. Especially if it's mostly filled with unnecessary content unrelated to the main story, or if it's stretched out and repetitive just to hit that minimum 50-hour playtime. Told ya, I will sound like a hater of modern gaming. This is when those nostalgic memories come back, not just of great games, but of a relatively short playtime, which for me actually enhances the gaming experience. I know there were exceptions back in the day too, games with 40-15 hours of playtime, but that wasn't the norm in most cases. And when I feel like I don't want to spend $90 on a modern stretched out game or replay a PS1 game for the 100th time, it's worth checking out the indie market. This time, I came across a Steam game called Old School Rally. Developed by Frozen Lake Studios, Old School Rally is essentially a homage to the PS1 era rally games. There were certainly many great rally games back then, but I can only compare it to Colin McRae, as that's the only one I played on the PS1 really. Oh, I also did play V-Rally, which I recently tried again thanks to the PS4 retro catalog, and honestly I don't understand how let alone was able to play this. Not to mention enjoying playing it on the split screen, it's barely playable. Anyways, so far Frozen Lake has released only one other game called Seaside Driving, which is basically a 3D arcade racing game. For me, its trailer did not look very appealing, but I'll always be grateful for that game because it paved the way for Old School Rally. It's a pretty impressive track record and a huge jump in quality in terms of game development, let's be real. It's worth following Frozen Lake on Steam by the way, as it seems their next release will be a retro-style PS2 homage game similar to Red Dead Revolver. Old School Rally starts with a nice little intro, the same one from the trailer basically, which brings back the old days when games had intros, and you always had to watch them because they really just set the mood. The game's menu system is very simple, just as a retro game should be. Well, just as any game should be. Yeah, I guess I really am a hater of modern games. There are really just 6 menu options here. The main one I guess is Rally. This is essentially the main story mode. You participate in a rally series of varying lengths and difficulties. By completing certain series you not only earn money and unlock new cars, but you also unlock the next rally series. The time trial mode is not just for practice where you can race with the new cars you bought or won on tracks you just unlocked in rally mode. You're even able to compete against other players worldwide with your best lap time on the online leaderboard. In the settings here you can tweak basically the necessary controller and graphic settings. It's important to note that the game only works with a controller or steering wheel. You cannot play with mouse or keyboard, even if it works in the menus. For some, this could be a turn-off, but really, can it be a deal-breaker in racing games in 2024? If so, just be warned that this is the situation. The graphic settings aren't that much really, but if you are not a fan of the CRT filter or other retro effects, you can turn them off here. The collection is basically a showcase where you can collect and view the cars you won or bought. This adds a extra motivation to collect these in-game trophies and jump back to replay the rally mode again and again, especially since the in-game achievements aren't just stickers or text-based, they are actually tangible here in your showcase. You can grab your cars and have a look at the 3D models themselves. I'd like to highlight that the showcase and the room are also customizable, which is actually a neat addition. In the achievements you can simply track your Steam achievements, nothing special, but at least you can see the requirements without exiting the game and having to check online to find out what you are missing. And I would like to just mention the credits as another menu, which you can view if you feel like it. And back to the rally mode. This is the main mode of the game where you will spend most of your time. Here you start with a very few cars to choose from in the beginning, and I must say, this is what really makes the game challenging, especially at the beginning. Spoiler alert, once you reach a certain car about quarter of the way through rally mode, and if you are not worse than me, and I'm really bad at racing games, you won't have any problems then, because you'll get a very fast and easy to handle car almost very early on. This might take away some of the challenge for those who are looking for that, but fortunately for me, it did not detract much from simply the gaming experience itself. And yes, there is a noticeable difference between cars in terms of handling, braking, acceleration and speed. And because of this issue above, getting this very good car very early on, this perhaps one of the game's drawbacks is that there is a little point in trying all the cars, since one is more than enough. So most of the time the cars will be just trophies in your showcase rather than having a reason for driving them. Regarding the rally series, there are 7 available. The first is the Rookie series, which is the easiest and the shortest. And from there, the difficulty gradually increases, time limits decrease and more tracks are included in the subsequent series basically. There is also a bonus night racing series at the end, which isn't shown in this video, and actually I'm not sure if I unlocked it as I progressed or if it came with a patch. Starting with the night series topic, I should mention that there are no other night races in the other series, nor are there any rainy tracks. But strangely there are snowy ones in almost every series. It's also possible that by the time this video is made, rainy tracks might be added with a patch to other series too. The different rally series don't necessarily take place within one country, but rather are spread across the world. By across the world I mean that we can rally in 7 countries on 2 tracks each, or 4 if you count the reverse tracks as well. This means there are 28 tracks at the time of making this video with varying lengths. The shortest takes about 1 minute, while the longest might be around 4 minutes. Considering this game reflects the quality of a PS1 game, this is a decent number of racetracks I believe, but feel free to correct me if all their rally games had much more many tracks. Also the term race is somewhat broad here, because you are not racing against AI nor against an AI time, just the track's time limit itself. I had to note it because this could be a turn-off for hardcore rally fans. But since I'm not a hardcore rally fan, this does not matter much to me. In fact, I just simply enjoy the arcade sim gameplay mix. The feeling this game gives me, how should I describe it, is that I can drive beautifully pixelated cars on PS1 style tracks, with classic rally engine sounds rolling while typical PS1 style 90s racing soundtrack plays in the background.
Easy right. Medium left. Easy right. Easy left. Hard right. Checkpoint.
In terms of gameplay, I did not test the manual shifting, but I assume if the automatic works well, there shouldn't be an issue with that either. Also, I cannot comment on the steering wheel functionality. Again, I'm not a hardcore racing gamer to have one. I have to note one slightly annoying thing. During the game, the co-pilot wasn't always consistent with the corner calls. Sometimes felt like a double corner could be 2 separate corners and vice versa. This only becomes an issue when a double corner call includes 2 easy corners, but in the next race, it could be 2 hard corners as well. It's a minor issue, but it's not entirely consistent in this way. I also have to mention the cars get dirty in the game during the race, and they stay that way in the next race. But that's just an aesthetic thing. However, if you crash the car too much, its performance will deteriorate, which significantly affects your ability how fast you can complete the race. But between races, you have the chance to repair the car. In the game, you get like 60 minutes of repair time between each race. The more the damage, the longer it takes for the repair crew to fix it. But it's not too stressful as it sounds. I never wrecked the car so badly that it couldn't be patched up between races. Initially I thought you had like 60 minutes of repair time for an entire rally series, which would have been more interesting to be honest, but it turned out the game isn't that punishing. Regarding the visuals, the PlayStation 1 graphics are just spot on. Everything is perfectly pixelated, and everything seems to consist of as many polygons as a classic game, making it feel like Old School Rally was genuinely released on the PlayStation 1 and I'm just playing it on an emulator in 2024. Maybe the draw distance is a bit more than it should be, and the sun has an extra hazy effect that probably didn't exist like this on the PlayStation 1. But that's just nitpicking on my part. In terms of sounds, you can hear the car roars, the tire screeches, and these just sound retro too, if that makes sense. while the menu sounds are similarly just simple in a great way. A few more sound effects could have been added though, like crowd noise at the start and the finish, or maybe some nature sounds depending on the track, like bird chirping or other animal sounds. As for the music, as I mentioned, that typical 90s racing soundtrack is pounding in the background. Let it be 90s rock, drum and bass, or some other house music typically used in a PlayStation 1 racing game back then. Of course, it's something you can turn on and off during race and in the menus if it's not your cup of tea. Old School Rally is a current game that takes you on a trip to the past for just about $10. It's not a perfect game of course, but a very solid retro-styled release which is so far consistently supported and patched by the developers. My only wish is that it would come to the PlayStation for the complete experience one day. This $10 got me about 4 hours of pure gameplay time to complete the rally mode. Not to mention the experience to jump to the past with this new retro style game. But for those who want to collect all the cars or own the best race time worldwide in time trial competing on the online leaderboard, that 4 hours can easily be extended. I was Gabe, and I catch you in the next one. Until then, keep gaming.
Easy right. Medium left. Easy right.